I'm excited to be joined by Denis Salimzianov. He is our fellow Italian wine ambassador from Kazakhstan. Denis currently is a sommelier at ABR Restaurant Group. And one of the exciting things about Denis is that he used to work as a vascular surgeon before he switched the careers and joined the wine industry. Today, we're going to learn about ABR. ABR is one of the biggest restaurant chains in Almaty. Second, we're going to explore Blanca and Astra restaurants, their wine lists, what is trending among consumers, and also some best-selling Italian wines. And third, we are going to learn about what wine styles or varieties have a potential in Kazakhstani market. So let's dive in. Welcome to Asia Wine Market Almaty Special Edition with me, your host, Roza. In this special series, we're exploring the growing wine culture of Kazakhstan, with Almaty at the heart of it all. Each episode will meet with Italian wine professionals, importers, soms, and producers who are shaping the future of wine in Central Asia. Whether you're a winery looking to expand into new markets or a local expert curious about the market dynamics, you are in the right place. Welcome to Asia Wine Market Almaty Special Edition. Today we actually have the last episode of this special series, but we're going to come back with Asia Wine Market again. We're going to go across Asia in general, and maybe sometimes we're going to come back to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, to Central Asia in general too. So for today, I'm excited to be joined by Denis Salimzianov. He is our fellow Italian wine ambassador from Kazakhstan. Denis currently is a sommelier at ABR Restaurant Group, and within the group, he oversees two places, Blanca, an Italian bistro, and Astra restaurant. And one of the exciting things about Denis is that he used to work as a vascular surgeon before he switched the careers and joined the wine industry. He can learn a little bit more about this transformative career move from his interview with Julia for Next Generation. In the show notes to this episode, I'm going to include the link so you can find Denis's interview on how he decided to join the wine industry. So welcome, Denis. We're very happy to see you here today.
Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be back on the Italian Wine Podcast. We actually met here a year ago when we came to Almaty for the first time and held the exam for the Italian Wine Maestra. It was a big moment for our wine community.
That is true. And also last year, we were joined by several new, fresh Italian wine ambassadors. I'm actually very happy because in this 10 episodes, I think Denis is the only Italian wine ambassador that I'm interviewing for this special series. So before we move to our main topics, can you please briefly walk us through how it all began for you?
So, as you mentioned, my story didn't begin with wine at all. After going through some personal turning points and realizing it was time to change my life, I took a job as a sales manager at a small dental clinic. Then I started working as a waiter at one of the Almaty's iconic restaurants, Afisha. That was my first introduction to the hospitality industry and also to the ABR group. After 6 intense months of working like a Terminator, I felt the urge to move forward. That's when I joined the iWine sommelier school and started studying under my sensei Artem Lebedev, and the first course was Pro Italy, not France.
Nice.
It was very interesting for my next path this year. Thanks to my background in medicine, I had a discipline and focus to move quickly. I earned my master certification in May, then became an Italian wine ambassador in November, third place in a local sommelier competition in Kazakhstan in October, and this year I achieved ASI diploma. And now we're here recording the podcast, and I'm excited to share what's been happening since and what ahead.
And from my perspective, I must add here that Denis, first of all, he's the finalist of the sommelier competition, which happened last year. And as I mentioned before, also last year he joined the VIA Academy, and we all know that it's a very rigorous exam, and he showed very good results. He was moving in his career in wine quite fast. That's very impressive. As for me, like among the professionals in our country, he's one of those people who's very result oriented. And I'm pretty sure in a couple of years, we will see even bigger results from him. He has a great potential. Looking at Denis, he's just a different level for me. I'm so impressed with his results. And he also mentioned Artyom Lebedev. I'm going to say it again and again that Artyom is one of the people who was at the start of developing this wine culture in our country. And we have to say cheers to him. And he's also our fellow Italian wine ambassador. Okay, now let's move to our 3 key learning objectives for today. So today we're going to learn about ABR. ABR is one of the biggest restaurant chains in Almaty. Second, we're going to explore Blanca and Astra restaurants, their wine lists, what is trending among consumers, and also some best-selling Italian wines. And third, we are going to learn about what wine styles or varieties have a potential in Kazakhstani market. So let's dive in. First of all, let's start with ABR. It's one of the largest and most recognizable restaurant groups in Almaty. Can you give us a quick overview of the group and its philosophy when it comes to food and wine?
I will try to do it fast. ABR is a fast growing restaurant group with over 15 concepts and 50 venues across Kazakhstan, employing more than 1,500 people and serving around 7 million guests annually. The company was founded in 2007 with the opening of the beer restaurant Bochonok, translate like Berik, and has since grown into a community shaping Kazakhstan's gastronomic culture. The group was created not just as business, but as a way to make life better, promoting a taste for food as a taste for life, creating emotions with every visit. ABR philosophy is built on innovation, launching new restaurant formats, unique dinners and festivals. There is a strong focus on digitalizing, including a unique app that brings together all projects, delivery, partner stores, and even a city quite in one place. Creativity, collaborations with international chefs, bartenders, regularly updated menus, and immersive space, and urban integration. We are the part of the city through projects like Urbanitarium and the Go Green initiative. ABR shows how gastronomy can influence art, fashion, and ecology. When it comes to wine, ABR doesn't treat it as a standalone element, but as an organic part of overall gastronomic story. Kazakhstan wines market is still developing, and our sommeliers curate thoughtful wine lists that reflect each venue's concept, local tastes, and current trends. In my view, we are seeing a positive shift away from overwhelming, bulky wine lists with hundreds of labels towards more compact, curate, and character-driven selections. Our mission is to help people to learn how to enjoy themselves properly, develop their palates, try different foods, and drink a broader range of wines.
Okay, and that is quite impressive, yes. At least across Almaty, I've seen some of the projects collaborating with some brands, influencers. It's a very good concept, very good idea. And also the app that I have to download. So you already started mentioning the wine list. Could you please tell me what sets ABR apart from other hospitality groups in Kazakhstan, especially in terms of its approach to wine culture?
In addition to what has already been mentioned, a wide range of restaurant concepts, from Italian trattorias to Asian cafes and fine dining, allows us to experiment with wine selections in very different contexts. From idea to execution approach, all projects are developed in-house by the ABR team, not through franchising, which give us full control over quality, branding, and concept, synthetic and collaborations, as we have already discussed, and high service standard. It's very necessary. We have our own in-house training center for preparing future staff. Thanks to it, even though I had never worked in hospitality before, I was able to quickly adapt and become part of the city's top restaurants.
I know that you are training the staff on wine. I didn't know that you also have these training programs in hospitality and service, like whole programs, not just separate like master classes or something. And now let's move to these two places that you currently manage, Blanca and Astra. So you oversee the wine programs at these two restaurants. Could you please describe each of the venues and how their wine concepts differ from one another?
So, I'm a chef sommelier only 2 months, and I have big plans. Some of them was realized. Let me start with Blanca. It is a light, airy gastro bistro located in the historical center of the city with a focus on Mediterranean cuisine. The design is minimalistic and bright. The atmosphere is relaxed, very much a daytime, sunny kind of place. The wine list here reflects the essence of Italian wine, which is all about diversity of grapes and styles. It tells the story of full Italian meal, starting with classic aperitifs like Amaro and Vermouth, moving into a list of 85 wines, 50 of which are Italian native varieties, and continuing with wines from around the world that carry an Italian spirit, like Australian Nebbiolo or Chilean Montepulciano. We end naturally with digestive, like sweet Marsala, Vinsanto, Grappa, and so on. There's room for natural wine, biodynamics, and some skin contact selections too. With this list, I wanted to show that Italy can offer everything, alternative to Champagne, to Bordeaux, and even to the very popular New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, of course. Now about Astra, it is a very different world. It is a Grand Cafe, a place where you might feel like you're dining on the ground floor of a chic historic hotel in Paris. It's more of an evening venue with a moody, theatrical ambience. The food is elevated French comfort cuisine, and the service lean toward fine dining. The wine list here is deeper, more mature, and a bit of more luxurious. It's centered around French wines and French-inspired styles from the other regions, with a total of 190 labels, including prestige bottles and collectible wines. Astra is for intentional enjoyment, a little more snobism in its wine approach, just a little, just a little. In short, Blanc is about pleasure and playfulness. Astra is about depth, sophistication, and luxurious.
Okay, so it's like two different approaches.
Very, very different. It's another world.
Well, yeah. And here I also wanted to ask you, for example, currently with both Astra and Blanca, with how many suppliers do you work with for these two venues?
There are three base companies. Almaty Trade, one of the biggest company in Kazakhstan, is Kazakhstan Wine and Spirits, and Rainback Alco. They give us so much different wines, and I took so much native grapes variety from all of these partners to complete this interesting, not standard card in Blanca.
Okay, and for Astra, also the same suppliers.
We have these three suppliers for all our company. This is the base for this year. 2025 is the last year. It was like startup in this big partnership with ABR and wine companies.
Okay, so you already talked about the wine portfolio and the wine lists. What are some of the current best-selling Italian wines in these two restaurants? Well, maybe in Blanca more in this case. Are there specific regions or styles that consistently perform well?
Of course, Prosecco remains the timeless bestseller. No surprises there. In Blanca, we also see strong sales of Sauvignon Blanc, but from Alta Adige, and the sweet, slightly sparkling Brachetto d'Acqui. Guests love its playful character. That said, what I'm most proud of Blanca is that we have found the key to guests' hearts when it comes to native Italian varieties. The trick was to provide clear, relatable associations, and I have written them directly into the menu. For example, Ansonica and Catarato from Sicily is positioned as a sunny, textured alternative to Pinot Grigio. Nasceto di Navello, also one of the bestseller, offers as a Piemontese take on Riesling, aromatic but with more earth and salty. For reds, our go-to is Girolamo Russo's entry-level Nerello Mascalese, biodynamic southern cousin of Pinot Noir, elegant yet vibrant. What about Astra? At Astra, during this hot summer season, guests mostly drink sparkling wines, all of kinds. The space and atmosphere are festive and elegant, the kind that almost makes the wine decision for the guests. Among Italian whites, Pinot Grigio, Toscan Vermentino, Zibibbo from Sicily, dry style, and Soave are consistently popular. For reds and structured and aged styles are always is demand, especially Barolo, Chianti Classico, and Super Toscan. With the upcoming wine list refresh, we also introducing Trento Doc and Etna Spumante Metodo Classico as a champagne alternative, and I am confident they will resonate well in this place.
That's super cool. And thank you for sharing all this information. I think this is very useful information. Thank you for breaking it down precisely. What it means, we have a surgeon is Italian wine ambassador. You just broke down everything precisely. So we already talked about some of the trends. And can you tell me about the consumers a little bit? Are they becoming more curious, or do they still mostly stick to their safe choices like Prosecco, Pinot Grigio? You're doing a great job trying to find the alternatives to some popular styles, but how they respond?
Guests are definitely becoming more curious and open minded, especially at Blanca. I often see people asking about grape varieties they have never heard of before and they actually willing to try. Including so many native Italian grapes in the wine list was a bold move, but it paid off. There is a growing appetite for discovery. Guests are open to trying orange wines, learning about what's trending in the wine world, and stepping out of their comfort zone. But, and this is important, they will only do it hand in hand with the sommelier. Guidance is the key. Of course, there is still a segment of guests who stick to the classics, Pinot Grigio, Primitivo, Prosecco, but even among them, we're seeing a shift. They asking for a more interesting Pinot Grigio or less sweet Prosecco, and that's a great sign. People want to learn; they just need it to be presented the right way.
And I'm also very happy to hear that people are responding well and becoming more curious. That's very promising. Okay, and here's another question on the wine list. How do you balance between offering some classics and introducing guests to something more unexpected? How do you find this line?
For me, the most important thing is building trust between guests and restaurant and place. We always start with what's familiar, classics, recognizable names, the one guests expected to see. And then, little by little, we open the door to something new, something they might even know exists, but that could truly inspire them. At Astra, I have constructed a concept of rotating wine flights that change every 2 weeks. These are designed specially to help guests discover rare styles and lesser known wines in a guided and structured way. Meanwhile, the main wine list remains rooted in classic and familiar selections. At Blanca, the best format has been large-scale tasting and wine festivals. For example, next week we will hosting Etna Wine Week to showcase what modern, stylish Sicily looks and tastes like. It's all about creating the right environment for curiosity and giving people the confidence to explore.
That is very nice. Yeah. And also, not long ago, in the end of May, you were also hosting another event, as I remember, because we were supposed to record this interview before. Okay. And from your perspective, what Italian grape varieties or wine styles have the most growth potential in the Kazakhstani market? Maybe they didn't grow as we want them to grow yet, but they have a strong potential for that.
The Kazakhstani wine market is evolving, but for now, the general public still tends to prefer wines with a soft acidity and a touch of sweetness. That's why there is still strong potential for wines like Brocchetto, Moscato d'Asti, Malvasia, Prosecco Extra Dry, as well as balanced white wines made from Grillo, Vermentino, Fiano, and Greco di Tufo. Juicy, fruity, without aggressive acidity, and easy to enjoy for a broad audience. Among reds, Dolcetto, Primitivo and Negro Amaro stand out, warm structured with ripe fruit and low tannins. These wines are approachable, comforting, and pair well with hearty, traditional dishes of nomadic cuisine. Considering shifting tastes, there is growing potential in dry styles of Lambrusco. Surprise. White wines from Abruzzo, like Pecorino and Passerina, for their brightness and freshness, and in smoky, mineral-driven wines from Etna. These wines represent the next step in wine pairing, especially with local food that is often salty, fatty, heavy, and not overly spiced.
And I'm very happy to hear that you see a potential in so many different styles of wine. And also, I think you are maybe the third or fourth person that is saying Lambrusco, dry Lambrusco. I hope Lambrusco Consortio will listen to all of these episodes where we mentioned them and will not lose this opportunity to connect with local importers who are really interested in this style.
Surprisingly, but our community is adept of brut style Lambrusco, quality style from Lambrusco, and heavy tannin style of Taurazi. It's very surprising for our very hot and dry climate in Kazakhstan, but it's very good for our dishes, I think.
And you're saying the community, you mean the wine community, you mean the wine professionals love these two styles.
Yeah, wine professionals, sommeliers, waiters, managers, hospitality management. It's very surprised for me.
Hmm.
Pinot Grigio, it isn't on the top.
Okay. Well, honestly, while I was interviewing people and hearing again and again Prosecco, Pinot Grigio, what else? Chianti, Primitivo. Whenever I go out now, I don't have anything against, I'm not against these styles of wines, but I'm like, I'm not gonna order them because I want other styles to get more popular too. Everything starts with the wine community first. So if we are open minded to something new ourselves, then we can educate our consumers little by little. Okay, and among all of these mentioned styles, are there any surprising wines that have recently gained popularity within your consumers?
In May, I organized a wine salon at Blanca where guests could taste almost every wine from the new list and choose their favorite, the one they had come back for next time. And surprisingly, the winner was Friulano by Cormons, of course, from
Mhm.
Friuli. I was genuinely and pleasantly shocked that such a delicate, fresh style resonate so strongly with our guests. I think we need some more salons, some more wine bigs to research more local tastes in native grape varieties, Italian grape varieties.
That is really good that you mentioned. I think sometimes in our market, in Central Asia in general, we have less research and also less numbers. For example, sometimes when I listen to interviews of my colleagues, Barbara and Juliana, they have the guests, they're like, they come with all this research. Other countries, they have kind of like really good numbers of researches that were made in wine, but we still lack them. But maybe like this wine venues, the restaurants could just make a kind of track about their guests, what they prefer. That would be really nice. And then just combine that information together so we would know from which point we could start or which way to go better. Okay, let's move to some of your future plans. What wines would you like to include in your wine lists this year?
This season, I plan to place more focus on Metodo Classico wines from North Italy and Etna, outside of Champagne. These wines offer excellent quality and can compete with well-known brands while bringing something fresh and different to the table. And also, I want to add more dry Lambrusco, as it's incredibly food-friendly and versatile. After summer, we will reanalyze sales to better understand which wine styles are truly resonating with guests. And of course, there is always the desire to showcase everything all at once, but that's not how it works. We need patience.
Okay, and I hope that again the producers will listen to that and will knock on your door.
I'm waiting.
How often do you renew the wine list?
One card must be renewed for the season. summer and winter. And now we focus, of course, on light sparkling wines, on fresh white wines. We have the hot summer like in Italy, 35, 40 degrees, but cold winter. And I will reanalyze and rebuild wine card in winter with focus on red sparkling wines and more strong, more interesting, more boldy red wines like Super Toscana and South Etna.
Okay, got it. Thank you a lot again for all of this insights and for answering my questions in a very precise way. And before we wrap up the episode, maybe you have something else to tell to our listeners or any final thoughts?
So I need to tell that Kazakhstan is a driving force behind the wine movement in Central Asia. ABR is a rapidly growing company with projects launching across various cities in the country, enriching both the restaurant scene and wine culture, while attracting new professionals and a broader audience. Almaty has become the central hub of this wine movement in the region, and that's both strength and a challenge. One thing is clear: the local market is hungry for more. It's eager to absorb new knowledge, discover new wines, and welcome new producers. And that's exactly what we have here to bring.
That is so well said. And I would be happy to continue this conversation, but unfortunately, we have to wrap up the episode. And before we do that, we have to summarize our today's episode. And in order to do that, I'm going to ask you three rapid questions. So if you can answer them in a short, precise manner, that would be great. That would be great. That would be great. Okay, first one. What's one key thing Italian wineries should keep in mind when entering our market?
It's important to enter the market with a long term strategy and a clear brand story. People in Kazakhstan love Italy, as I said, but wine culture is still developing without proper contexts and storytelling. Even high quality wines may go unnoticed. Winery should train local sommelier and staff, participate in tastings and wine dinners, and use localized content that speaks in an engaging and accessible way. It's also essential to understand the local taste preference are shaped by childhood flavors and traditional cuisine, which tends to be hearty, salty, and not over acidic. Wines that align with the profiles will always have a head start. Finally, keep in mind the market's price sensitivity. People are willing to pay more if they feel the wine bring value, emotion, and sense of discovery. We were not just selling a grape. We're offering a story and feeling then that connects with the guest's world. Probably the most important thing is not to overestimate the level of wine knowledge among the general audience. People here love Italy and respect its culture, but they often choose wine intuitively, based on the label or feel, not necessarily on technical understanding. That's why it's essential to communicate simply, clearly, and with Italian style emotion to explain what makes a wine special and why it belongs in the exact moment and place. And most importantly, work with sommeliers. They are the key bridge between the winery and the guests.
Yeah, that is true. And also find a way to collaborate, maybe, and to support local somms, even through the Kazakhstan Sommelier Association, as an example, or through the wine schools that we have here. We already have like three wine schools.
Yeah, we are building this Italian community with our school, with our tasting rooms, with this podcast, with wine festivals. The producers can use these opportunities.
Mhm. Yeah, that was such a good answer. Thank you so much. It was not necessarily short, but at the same time, it was a very nice, like, full point stop to our today's episode. But I still have to ask you a couple of more questions. So, if you could introduce one new grape variety to the market, what would it be and why?
It's a very difficult question because of so much Italian grapes. I think for this season, for local taste, for local cuisine, it will be Timorasso from Piedmont. We all love Rieslings in different styles, and I think Timorasso will be a very good part of our wine lists.
Okay, thank you. And another question is Well, this is really fun question to ask from you. If you weren't working in wine, what other profession or industry could you see yourself in? Can you imagine from surgeon to a som, then to something else? So what would it be and why?
That's a thought question, especially considering my background as a surgeon. I think I would still choose something connected to people, emotions, and maybe learning. Maybe I go study to become a chef. Why not? Because I really love cooking and enjoying good food. It's hard to say. Life has a way of unfolding in the most unexpected direction sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's true. And your story, actually, I think it's a proof to that. Thank you again for joining our today's conversation. And thank you for giving such good and very practical answers. So we know the names, we know all the styles that have a potential, that are growing. Thank you a lot. And how can our listeners connect with you?
They may use my Instagram account or Facebook. Instagram is preferably, and I'm always on link. And I will wait you in social media and, of course, in Kazakhstan, in Almaty.
Okay, thank you a lot again for our today's conversation. As I said before, all of your answers, they were very practical, and I hope our listeners will take some notes from our today's conversation. Thank you a lot, and bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you all.
Thanks for listening to Asia Wine Market Almaty Special Edition. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your pods. And if you are curious to discover more about the Central Asian wine scene, join us at the Vinitaly Kazakhstan Roadshow on July 7th. See you in the next episode. And until then, cheers from Almaty.